Hello traders, Footy Trader here, and it's been a while since I last talked to you, so I felt that maybe I will record a video today and answer a question that I found very interesting. You can see the question that I will like to answer today, and here it is. It's from the Discord that I'm on, and let's just dive straight into it. So the question is, regarding profitability in betting, experts claim a positive CLV is necessary. Many of us bet in play. How can we measure our own CLV since it's seemingly determined when we place our bets? Okay, so I will share my thoughts on this topic. It is not a difficult. It's not an easy topic. And what I'm about to say in this video is, don't take it as ultimate truth. I'm not trying to be a smartass here or anything. I just thought that I will share what I learned over the years and what it is all about regarding profitability. So first of all, what is CLV and what we are talking about? So I'll put a link into in the description of this video, a link to this article, and it's not an article, but here it is. So there is this article, a closing line value demystified, by expert Joseph Buchdahl, and it will help us just to get an understanding of what we are talking about and what it is that traders often refer to as value. So in short, the closing line, as per the article, right? So I'm not making anything up. Look at this part. So the closing line is simply the line. It is more of a US term, but we are more used to a price or to odds that are there at the moment when the sportsbook closes the betting market just before a match begins, right? So we can say that odds offered just before the game starts is the closing line. Okay. Cool. So why it is important? Well, it is important because, as the article explains, there is ample evidence to show that the closing line provides a reasonable measure of the true outcome probabilities. Now, this is what I want to say in this video as well. Actually, it is. I will try to convince you that it is all about probabilities. Yeah. Okay, some sport books are more accurate than others, but basically we say that the closing line is the most accurate because it takes into account everything: the news, the injuries, last minute changes to team compositions, etc. Right? So this is the most accurate probability estimation that we can get. Okay. Now, where the value is. So here is where it becomes interesting. Yeah. So of course, in order to be successful, it's not a matter of just finding winners. I mean, if you bet blindly, you will have winners, but it's obviously if you add up the total winnings and total losses and you get a positive number, this is when you are successful. Yeah. So you have to find more winners than the sportsbook believe you should be finding. Yeah. So, and here is the example. Yeah. Here is the example. Very simple example, and I will be sticking to it because it is an example of a coin toss, right? Okay, so clearly tossing heads or tails is a 50% position. But you have, as per this article, let's assume that you have a secret information that you know that you have a coin that is biased. And this coin will show heads 51 times out of 100. Then your expected value is 51 to 50 or 102. Yeah, because in the end you will be profitable. Yeah, I can even read this. If you bet $1 on heads every time, you will obviously win 51 times, lose 49 times out of every 100 tosses for an expected profit of $2 per 100 wagered. That's 2%. Or a total return of 102. Yeah. Decimal odds are just a reciprocal of the implied outcome probabilities. So it's easy to calculate the expected value. If a true odds of a proposition were 2, but the sportsbook was offering 2.10, then the expected value is 2.10 divided by 2, it's 105. So this is what is being said, right? Why you have to keep the closing line value positive. I mean, greater than 1, basically, yeah? But it is all about finding cases where the market... So look at it from this perspective. Every time the market is telling you something, and I am now referring to the betting exchanges. So the market is telling you something every time, whether it's before kickoff or in play in a certain moment of time, it is telling you something. What it is telling you? Well, it is telling you what are the probabilities of an outcome. If you look at the match odds market, for example, it will tell you what the probability of a draw is, what the probability of team A winning and team B winning is. So, if you are doing in play, it's the same story. You know, you have just the conditions are different, right? Because let's assume you are 60 minutes in a game. The result matters, and the probability is different than it was before the kickoff. But again, the market is telling you something. Now, in order to be successful, you need to find those cases, those cases, to put it very clearly, cases that in which the market is wrong. Like here, there is an event with a 50% probability, but the market is offering you 2.10 odds. Now those cases. So this is the scenario where you want to enter the market, right? Because long term you will be profitable. So if you look at trading, the key factor here is the odds. Why? Because if you're doing that on a regular basis, and in a 1 year of time you have hundreds of market entries, you will add up the losses, you will add up the winners, and you're expecting a positive number. And this will lead you to that. If you find those cases, those 2.10 odds where the true probability is 50%, right? You know how to, I assume you know how to convert odds to probabilities. You just go 1 divided by the odds, and then you have a probability, right? So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, right? So 50%, yeah? So that's the key. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you something to visualize this even better on how those odds matter and why they are key. Okay, so if we look at this. So what I have here. So here I have the coin toss. 1 represents heads, 2 represents tails, whatever, yeah? And I have 10,000 coin tosses. And I'm making it very simple. If it's heads, let's say heads is 1, then I win. And if it's tails, then I lose. Simple. My stake is 100, so I'm disregarding the commission that exists on the exchanges for this exercise, but this has to be taken into account as well. But I'm assuming no commission, right? And I have odds of 2. My stake is 100, and I do this 10,000 times. So what is my result? My result is that I have ups and downs, but I will end up somewhere around 0. It's mathematically proven. The more coin tosses, the closer I will be to 0. So if I play that game, if I have an event with the 50% probability and someone offers me odds of 2, I won't win, I won't lose long term, because obviously short term I can win, short term I can lose, even a lot, as you see in this example. But long term it will be 0. Now look what happens with this if I change the odds just by a bit, just slightly. I'm not changing this from 2 to 3, or I'm not changing this from 2 to 1.5. But what happens if we change it to 1.95? Not a huge change, is it? But what happens? You're not getting out of this one. You're not. This is 195. It's the smallest of changes. No, it's not it's not the smallest of changes, but it's a small change that, here you're like minus 20,000. Jesus, you're not getting out. You want to see 1.9? Nah. This is like, 60,000. So what if in this exercise I have 205? Yeah, you guessed it, yeah. There's no doubt, right? Plus 15,000 looks good. 2.1? Now we're talking. Almost 80,000. This is not going down. I mean, not going down in a sense that it won't reach the 0 line. So if your answer is, if you're looking for an answer to the question, and this close line value refers to the odds before the game, right? So you're basically beating the odds because that there is an event and you disagree with the probabilities, the market is wrong. You have the value, but looking at this exercise, do you have any doubts that it's all about the odds? It's all about the probability of an event? I mean, how you can't be clearer than this, yeah? Now, in football, it's not that easy because you don't have 2 outcomes, you have 3. And you don't have them obviously evenly matched, right? So if you have, now you have games where the probability of the 3 outcomes, one team winning, the other team winning, and the draw is pretty even. You can find such games. But the vast majority of games, it's not like that. Yeah, you have the home stadium advantage. But what you need to do is, again, think of it that first, nobody knows what will happen. You are and we are operating in an environment that is completely unpredictable. You don't know what will happen in a football match. You don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what will happen. So, if I was to put money on an event that is unpredictable, what should I work with? Yeah, I should work with this. I should work with the odds. So interpret what's happening, interpret the situation, and try to evaluate whether the market is wrong. Again, market is telling you something all the time, whether the market is wrong or not. How to do it? It's not easy. It comes with experience. But take a silly example. If you won't find those silly examples in the real life, but it kind of will help prove my point. And it is that if you took a strong team from a Premier League and a team from the bottom of the table, let's say, I don't know, Liverpool and Wolves or Ipswich, no offense to any teams, yeah? And if you saw a market where the probability of each event, home win, draw, away win, would be split equally, 33%. I mean, it's silly, right? I mean, you wouldn't need more than 2 seconds to say, hey, Jesus, it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. So the 33%, I mean, Liverpool, assuming, that they have, that there are no, they have a, team A playing, Liverpool winning, it's not 33%. And it's very easy. We don't need to convince anyone. It's the easiest example. Yeah. Easiest example. You won't find those examples in the market because that would be too easy. So you need experience, you need understanding, you need knowledge to be able to tell where the market is wrong in those more complicated scenarios, right? Where you have one team winning odds 2.1, the other team 3.7, and you need to say whether this is correct or not. So experience is needed. And what I try to do, and perhaps you will find this helpful, is I've asked myself this question. So let's say, I will use another sheet here. So let's say that I have 2.5 odds, perhaps, a team winning. So what's the probability? It's 1 divided by that. It is okay. It's okay. So this is 40%. Yeah, 40%. Whether it's pre-match odds or in-play odds, it's not that key because, there are just different situations you look at, okay? But let's say these are the odds for the home team winning. We don't care whether it's pre-match or it's in, 60th minute. Ask yourself this question. In this situation we're in, if we took 100 games like this, like the one I am watching, or the one I am about to watch, will the home team win 40 times out of 100, and doesn't win 60 times, right? So there will be a draw of the other teams winning 60 times, or not. Or maybe you will say, there's no way. You know something. You remember that secret information mentioned in the article, that you know there's something wrong with the die. Maybe here you have something, you see something that the market evaluates incorrectly, and you know that there's no way that in those circumstances this team is winning 40 times out of 100. Perhaps it is winning 60 times, 70 times, maybe, okay, I'm exaggerating, but maybe 60 times. So if it's winning 60% of times, then obviously the true odds are lower than 2.5. Then there is value. You should back this team. Yeah, you should back this team if you're correct. And this is where the money are made, right? Because people who know how to do it, they will find those cases where the market is wrong, and they don't even analyze it in this way. They just see an event, see the result, and see the odds, and they immediately know that it is valuable to enter the market. Okay. All right. I think so. Again, these are my views, something that I learned over the years. You know, I'm happy to see your comments. Every comment is more than welcome. I will close up with one point. And it is that I often see beginner traders on some that are unexperienced, and they say, "Oh, I have." Okay, again, maybe I'm making it a little bit silly, but I have a strategy. I have a strategy that when a team is winning by 2 goals, I'm a home team an away team winning by 2 goals. I am laying this team, and I will test this strategy and see whether it is profitable. So always when there is, let's say, 2-0 before 60th minute, I lay this team. That kind of a strategy. But always, when I hear that, there is that 1 point missing. What are the odds? Are you using any odds that the market is presenting? So get back to this example. So this example will tell you that there is a huge difference between 2 and 2.10 long term. There is huge difference between 2 and 195 long term. And you say that you don't care about the odds? You just have a strategy, and whatever odds are presented, you take them? You know, that can't win long term, mathematically. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I guess that was it. It's almost 3 p.m. on a Sunday, so I have to get ready for my trading session. Yeah. Stay green. I hope you found this video helpful, and yeah, we'll speak again very soon. Thank you and bye.